Alright, guys, it is my birthday, but I'm not celebrating, not really doing much today, so I'm gonna take a break from playing Dota and go over more of the LC Classic tournament that I won. Um, so, if you haven't watched my video on the finals, it's titled How I Won $1,700 Playing Little Cup. Take a look at that. I will go over a little bit of how the tournament works, how I managed to get to playoffs in the first place, and when I do end up, I did mention I'm in tiebreak, so I'll be going over the tiebreak series itself. Um, the way it works is the higher seed, I have more win rate, picks their two highest tiers from Gen 3 to 8, followed by the lower seeds' two highest unpicked tiers, and then the higher seeds pick amongst the remaining two tiers. Now, I will be completely honest and say that I had no idea this was the case. I did not bother reading this. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't expect to be in playoffs. My understanding, like my thought was that they take my 6 picks, they take Voltix's 6 picks, and then they're gonna average it out. So I was trying to do some 200 IQ stuff where, so Shink said, he's good at SM and DPP, tends to prefer aggression. He doesn't like BW. And so he said go BW, ORAS, and then ADV in order. What I ended up doing is, and I can't put this on the tab, it's kind of hard to stream, but I picked black and white and sword and shield. Voltix's tiers were interestingly ADV and DPP, which is strange because I consider myself quite good at ADV, but it's important to remember, I think I was out of basically every open in round 2 or 3. It was the best finish limit of 3. So I think my proficiency at ADV, my prowess, wasn't really understood. And DPP is definitely a weak spot for me. I did not want DPP in here, but what I didn't realize about this is that even though I put DPP 6th, it doesn't matter if I have DPP 6th. As long as Voltix has it in his first 2 picks, he can guarantee that DPP is played. And the way it worked out is that it was ADV, DPP, Black and White, Sword and Shield. The last tier would be SM, which is Voltix's main tier. So Voltix didn't pick SM as... Oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe he picked DPP and SM because those are his 2 favorites, and then ADV was left as we snake down the order picks. And Voltix did not want to play ORAS, which is very interesting because as a fairy gen, ORAS and SM are, I would say different, but similar. They still have hidden powers. They still have the ghastly stuff going on, Abra, but there are significant differences, especially with Fletchling. So it is very interesting that he did not want to play ORAS at all, because I think I had ORAS low. I wasn't super confident in it, but I think he had it like way low. Which is something just that should be mentioned, interestingly. So let's get into the series itself. Voltix is a strong player. I knew him as a strong SM. Shing said, you know, DPP is good. But But because I got Black and White and ADV, which are good against Shing, and I'm confident in my Sword and Shield. Like, I'm not like, maybe I'm not the best player in the tier, but I would like to think I'm in the top 5 somewhere. So I was pretty confident having 3 picks that I felt good about. So it was a very good call by him picking DPP, and we'll get into the first game, but here's where this is one of what I would consider my home tiers to be. I think I liked ADB a lot because when I managed LCPL, I just like playing tests in it for some reason. It just felt like comfortable. 7 Spitfire. Hello, Google Call. This is Rajesh. I do hope this is Smogon user Spitfire. Good evening. I think it's like 10 p.m. in India or something. I did have to call people in India for my birthday. So, thank you for watching, Spitfire. Make sure you've subscribed. I don't know if you've subscribed, so I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully you find that subscribe button. Oh, I appreciate you're here for your favorite streamer. I guess I'll put the chat box on top so you guys can see it, but it looks kind of ugly. So Spitfire's here for his favorite streamer. Let me know if the chat sound is too loud, because that's been an issue in my past few streams. I don't really get that many chatters, but I do need to turn the volume down, maybe. I don't know. So, anyway, getting into the first game. I will say my team for this is kind of offbeat. I don't use these mons generally. I tend to go like kind of balancy and then one fast mon, maybe like an Elekid because it's a fast guy that takes trades. And also when I tested a year ago for LCPL with Evakiyama, I would use her squads a lot, but that was Abra meta, and then possibly Diglett meta. I think Diglett was banned, but Abra was legal. But point being, it was a very different metagame where you could kind of spam Abra and then just use last mon barrier CM Abra to cheese wins. That's not really possible right now, so I have to play a real Pokemon to try to win this game. I lead Voltarb, which is nicknamed Flotarb. Not sure what's going on with that. This is a Sheng team because all my teams in ADV are Sheng teams. For this tournament, I lead off with Hidden Power Ground because from this range, Thunder will kill. If I Thundered first, then he would use Citrus Berry to heal up to full, and I couldn't 2-hit KO him. But on lead, my idea is to just 2-hit KO him. From his perspective, he would want to hit Rock Blast. And he needs a 4-hit to kill. I doubt this. He needs a 4-hit to kill. The way Rock Blast works is it's a third chance to hit 2 times, a third chance to hit 3 times, and then a 1/6 chance to hit 4th or 5th time. So to get a 4-hit or higher is a 1/3 chance, which combined with the Rock Blast accuracy of 90% is around 28-29%. A little less than a Skull Burn. So that's what he would need to kill me this turn. And if that doesn't happen, ADV mechs work the way where after the turn is over, after he does all the damage, I Citrus up all the way to full. So it's not like he Rock Blasts me twice, gets me into Citrus Berry range, I heal up to full, and then he does more damage to me. I would heal straight up to full unless he kills me this turn, which is important to mention. So you'll see Rock Blast is 28, and then he crits the second. So it's basically like if he did like 3 Rock Blast hits. If he hits me once more, I'm in trouble, but he does end up hitting 2 times. Meaning that I guess I got lucked, but the fact that he low rolled meant it all evened out. And like I mentioned, it's the end of the turn. It's the end of the turn where you heal up, which does make multi-hit moves. Well, I guess if you would die to a low amount of multi-hit moves, that's bad for you because you'll just die without getting a recovery. But if you die to a high number of multi-hit moves, that means he can't get you in 50% range, and then you heal up, and then he chips you down. So generally, this interaction is very favorable if it's a low damage multi-hit. Just something you want to keep in mind if you play this tier. So now he's in Thunder range to die. And he stays in on the Thunder. This is 70% accuracy. So combined with the previous event of him not killing me with Rock Blast, me hitting Thunder brings the odds to, I want to say, about 50-50 that I win this interaction by turn 2. Which is quite favorable for me. I'm not gonna lie about that. If I missed, he would like destroy me with Rock Blast, and then what he ends up doing is he goes Chinchou. So if he hits me with Rock Blast as I miss, he would go Chinchou the next turn, and then I have to play Explosion Mind Games. So he goes Ghastly. As I explode, and I had enough special defense to live a Chinchou hit, but I don't want to trade down against this Chinchou. I just want to get another free kill with Explosion, which is extremely greedy because you need to scout out the Ghastly. Additionally, I think Shing mentioned this is where you substitute, so substitute was like a perfectly fine option. I think, as you'll see in my game against Michael in the finals, I improved greatly in ADV, and this is like kind of a sign of the growing pains where I just make like a complete blunder here. Getting some DMs. So he manages to completely block off the explosion. So my clear advantage that I had with the Voltorb, getting a free kill, now I am in trouble. Sorry, I'm getting bombarded with messages. So I go Whalmer because Whalmer's like quite decent against Ghastly. Again, the Citrus mechs will come into play here. If this was Diamond, like DPP, Gen 4 onwards, Ghastly T-balls me for like 80%, I heal up to full, I Water Spout, and I kill him. The problem with ADV interactions is that when he T-balls me, when I Water Spout, I haven't healed up the damage because the Water Spout event goes before the Citrus Berry event, meaning that here, what I need to do on his Thunderbolt is, you see, I don't heal up. So this was very questionable by me, and I don't honestly understand why I did this. I think I expected him to switch. Did I just see the high BP move and click it in game, or was there any reason to not sub switch there? I think sub is fine. I also think HP ground to get rid of Chinchou's berry juice is even better move because at that point Voltorb's HP kind of matters, but it doesn't really matter. So I get rid of his berry juice, and then I can threaten boon the next turn and then sub like we mentioned anyway. It is noticeable for me. I will try to just mute the sound, and I'll put it at like 1. But I'll need to figure this out later because I'm kind of bad at these things. But I think, so what Spitfire's saying is that here, booming is very, yeah, this is very noticeable. Man, I need to fix those settings later. So here, booming's a mistake, it's too presumptuous. Voltorb lives a hit from Chinchou anyway. I think Hydro might kill because this isn't super SDF, but in either event, it just doesn't really make sense to commit a boom here. Also, I have like 5 other Pokemon that could probably deal with Chinchou. I don't want the Chinchou to stay because it's a water resist, but kind of a newbie move. Like, this is also kind of a silly move because what's the point of Water Spouting? If I had Icy Wind here, I think I click Icy Wind, but yeah. So I switched to Elekid here. I think my point with the Water Spout here is that I don't have Icy Wind, so I can't Icy Wind into Water Spout against Ghastly. And I switched into Elekid, and now Ghastly is in Elekid range because a special defensive Ghastly is quite common in this tier. And that would live a hit from Elekid from full. Because I don't think I have Psychic, I have just Thunderbolt. So he goes Leap as I substitute. Nice little sub by me. I Ice Punch him, and I end up freezing. So Lilip answers Elegant pretty comfortably. It would live a 2 HKO. Um, but I end up freezing him. I end up getting quite lucky. Low rolling into high rolling. This is 48% was kind of a low roll. So him being at 52% is kind of a low roll. And now I end up high rolling, meaning that he doesn't get to the 50% mark he needs to get to berry juice. And this is basically the only way I can 2 HK him. I get the additional luck on top of getting frozen, which some would say is classic Kingler. I think the game plan against the lead probably is what I'm going to do is I Ice Punch here. He's going to be at 52. He Giga Drains for maybe getting to 60. I'm going to sub again to get my recovery. And I don't even remember the other mons on this team. But my idea is probably, honestly, to just Ice Punch this guy. And my feeling is I need 1, 2, 3 Ice Punches to kill, and the Leap doesn't 2 HKO me. So I do win the 1v1. I'm just going to lose basically all my HP on the Elegant, which is unfortunate. But the way it worked out is I think I had bad matchup. Well, not ideal matchup. I have to get all the plays right, and I got none of the plays right. I played quite badly at the start. So this kind of luck is what I need to break the game open, and I get extremely lucky, and it happens. And then I believe this is HP ground. I think I HP ground the Chew. I'm not 100% certain. So yeah, I HP ground the Chew. As he surfs and gets his regen, I sub again as he surfs, and now I'm gonna heal up all my citrus berry recovery. I'm just gonna HP ground and I crit him. So this Elegant basically killed like 2 mons for free by getting extremely lucky. He goes Snubble, and at this point the game is unlosable. Like I'm 5 against 3 with a Whalmer that water spouts the Snubble. Like it's really free. I go Anorith as he Earthquakes. And as he goes Ghastly, I'm just going to Rock Blast. No, I end up Swords Dancing. And why do I Swords Dance, risking a tie against Ghastly? It's because I have Endure for him trying to win the tie. And I get a Salak boost. At this point, what are the usual 6 from him? If I'm being like completely honest, I have no idea. Like I'm not good at guessing 6ths. He ends up being Carvana, which is very weird. You never see this in ADVLC. So he's like running some offbeat nonsense, which, that's prerogative. I say with love. But maybe a Horsey. I could see a Horsey. I could see a Chlorophyll Sweeper. I could see basically anything in the back that's like some sort of reverse sweeper, because Anorith and Ghastly are breakers, and then Chinchou, the Leap, Snubble are your basic balance mons. That's like, yeah, I think something Elegant but fast like Dodo or Horsey does make sense to me, because he has Lilith and Chow, and having the Doduo is also quite interesting, because Machop has become quite prevalent in post-Abra LC. I don't know if I'm aware of all these intricacies like first round, because like I think I was like with family. I played the series on phone, if I remember correctly. No, that was a CLR series. But I was like I was just finding my footing. Like I'm making basic clicks, all right, and I got extremely lucky here. But I just HP bugged to sweep here. Like I'm gonna Rock Blast and I get 3 hits. So, but I had this game won at this point anyway. So I win this. I get extremely lucky. And Voltix says, at this point, let's go DPP. So we are gonna go into DPP next. And this is my weakest tier. I despise playing DPP. I call it a coin flip all the time. I think you guys probably got similar vibes if you watched my Grand Slam overview from UU. So I really just don't like this tier. And as a result, like, and he leads Machop, which should be banned as I'm leading, like, I think this is a Brammy team, but I don't remember. No, maybe this is a random team Shen gave me. City Bronzor into Machop, which Machop doesn't beat you, especially if you have Psychic. You should win the 1v1. But with Dynamic Punch confused chances and the fact that you don't even 3 HKO him after Oran, maybe you 3 HKO him after Oran, but like barely, and you need Psychic. Dynamic Punch is gonna, the odds are against you with confused chances. So he's gonna click a very skilled move in Dynamic Punch. I confuse and I self hit, which isn't really that unlucky considering last game's events. I'm going to switch to Coughing to counter the Machop as he Dynamic Punches again. And now Coughing is a very good Machop answer. But it's not like, it's not super clear to me that he's going to switch out. He could even fish against my Coughing and try to wear me out of Oran Berry. He ends up going Gligar as I hit Wisp through confusion, which is extremely, well, not extremely lucky, but like maybe a 50% chance, right? Oh. So, not extremely lucky, but some things had to go my way to hit this Wisp for sure. It was like a 50% chance. And now this Gligar is basically useless. This Coughing sits on it forever too, so I'm not even sure why he went Gligar. But I think it was just, maybe he's trying to get up rocks or something. I go Zor, which also counters Gligar. I could have stayed in and attacked, but I want to get my Stealth Rock up, so he gets his rocks up. And he can't do anything to me, so he's going to switch out to Munchlax as I Stealth Rock. If I had my Oran Berry, maybe Munchlax isn't such a good Bronzor answer, but without Oran Berry, he's going to Fire Punch you twice and kill. Clueless Magnet says Kingler's the goat of NFE. Thank you very much. He wanted to cast a double to Zor or your Rocker, very likely. I can see that. I guess. But I also think, like, in this position, you go to your Coughing answer. If I go Bronzor, you want to stay in a Dynamic Punch because that's a good enough confused fish as is. So I think from my perspective, this Gligar move makes no sense aside from greedily getting up rocks, which is fine. Maybe he didn't have Coughing answers, but this is a very not ideal situation happening for him because he's playing 5v6 now. I'm kind of playing 5v6 because my Oran's gone on Bronzor, but he doesn't like having a bot for his mod. So he goes Munchlax as I go Stealth Rock. He could have even gone Machop here and tried to confuse fish again, but he goes the more honorable, respectable Munchlax, which can technically KO Coughing from this range with Double Edge Brawly. So I need to be kind of careful. I do end up going Coughing as he Fire Punches, so I call the switch right. And I heal up with my Oran Berry. I'm only at 80%, which would chip become 70%. And he goes Gligar again. So he just doesn't have any answers to Will-O-Wisp. As I thief away the Oran Berry. I have an excellent start here, despite my Bronzor not having Oran. He Aqua Tail crits me, which is unfortunate. Because I can't thief off the Gligar as I Fire Blast to kill him off. And now he's basically sacked away his Gligar, and he reveals his real Coughing answer, which is Ghastly. Which he didn't want chipped, and he didn't want to get Pursuit Trapped by Munchlax. With a Ghastly taking Burn Chip, is going to get Pursuit Trapped if I have a Munchlax, which is extremely common in DPP. So that's fair enough. He wanted to preserve his Ghastly to actually be able to come in and attack. He Shadow Balls and kills me. Now, I don't understand why I stayed in. And I think this basically just lost me the game because I have a whole Bronzor that lives ahead too. So if I'm worried about sub, what I do is I go Bronzor, I break the sub with Flash Cannon, and I let him kill me, and then I go to my response, right? But letting go of my Coughing when his Coughing answer was Gligar is extremely dubious. This is... like, I'm actually surprised I won this series because ADV I played really badly, and this is like a game-losing move. So, like, I go Munchlax to counter trap, but I sure sack the Bronzor and not the Coughing, which beats basically every mon that I see. So Munchlax comes in, he wisps. As I pursued, I get him into Oran Berry range, so he's gonna heal up with Oran Berry. But he doesn't have Oran. He has Life Orb. He revealed Life Orb last turn. That's my fault. So he needed Life Orb damage to kill. But that's not exactly uncommon on Ghastly. And it's not like Thief would do a ton of damage if he was Oran Berry. It would work out for me interaction-wise, but it's extremely risky. And like, he wisped me as I pursued, he sludge bombs me, and he crits, which is unfortunate, but honestly, I doubt I had any Machop answers. And you guys will see the set reveal in a second, and it's just like completely cooked. He gets a sludge bomb crit, but it honestly didn't matter. I go Gligar as he switches to Munchlax. I Aqua Tail, just make the regular play and try to attack the Ghastly. It has Levitate, so I can't EQ. Maybe if I EQ'd, I could have gotten some more progression, but honestly, at this point, the game is completely cooked. I go Snover on a Munchlax, because it's SD Snover, and maybe I could have sacked Bronzor, but if on Gligar, let's say he goes, I go Bronzor as he Ice Punches, I think then I'm in Fire Punch range for Munchlax. Then, I can't kill him with Gligar, so I'm going to try to kill him with Snover using Hail Chip plus Wood Hammer. Instead of losing a sack and playing 3v5, I decide to go hard Snover on the Ice Punch. And what this does is it lets me take an HP of Chip away from the Munchlax, and now it's in Wood Hammer range. And so if I Wood Hammer and he stayed in, I would have killed. I end up protecting to get another round of Hail Chip so that the Wood Hammer's a better roll. As he goes Ghastly. And he's going to Sucker Punch as I Ice Shard. So he gets additional chip on my Snover. And now the Snover basically has to go for Brook. It has to sweep. Otherwise, it's going to die to 2 Stealth Rock switching, so it's completely useless. He goes Doduo. And then switches to Munchlax. So Doduo dies to Ice Shard. So he has to switch to Munchlax. But it does beg the question of why he went to Doduo, because he could have gone Machop probably. What he is doing here is switching the Doduo out so that it gets to 50% and activates Oran Berry. But it's kind of a pointless thing to do, because you do end up having to do some weird switches. I'm just gonna Ice Shard. Oh, I do not Ice Shard. I don't Ice Shard on the Life Orb Doduo. Because, okay, I think he's Life Orb Quick Attack, which outpaces my Snover and is gonna kill me. So I switched to Bronzor. But maybe I could have protected. I don't know. I'm just playing very uninspired and very overly safe. And there's not really any avenues for me to win this game. My Psychic got the Fire Punch. And my Munchlax gets burned and dies to Hail. Which again doesn't matter a ton, because I Revenge Kill with Wood Hammer. Unfortunately, I died to Recoil. So luck has been against me this game, but this was a very winnable game. I have Coughing against Physical Offense. Phenomenal matchup. Munchlax against Life Orb Ghastly, which is basically a free kill. And then I Wisp everything else. But I just did not play the matchup right. I go Dratini, which is one of my favorite late game DPP sweepers, because you can cheese a win, as he goes Machop. And he switched to Chinchou as I Outrage, because my idea is to try to hit him with Outrage and try to Outrage crit. But he sacks Chinchou, which is a little puzzling, because if I Dragon Danced, I honestly could have possibly won this game. So, I don't know, live your life, I guess. But the reason he did this is because he has Scarf, Machop, and now he's gonna Ice Punch, and that Hail Chip gets me into Ice Punch range. So now he kills my Gligar. If I'm being honest here, I think both of us played this game kind of badly, but I played way worse than he did. Very messy game on both sides. DD Dratini is jolly. The DPP is not my good tier. DD Dratini is I'll have to double check, but my understanding is that it is jolly, but I don't kill Machop, and Machop kills me back for sure. Oh, it was adamant, so I was 14 speed. Um, but I know for sure that I don't kill Machop and that Machop kills me back. So maybe it was a die, but honestly, that die didn't really matter because even with the sand chip, the hail chip, I remember this not being a big deal to me. Even with the hail chip, Machop would live like at 1 HP and then kill the Gligar the next turn. So he had this game sealed up for sure. Um, so he got quite lucky, which made the game easy for him. But I think as a competitor, if you have any pride, you cannot be mad at the luck here because I just played like awfully. And I knew I wasn't like that good at DPP, but this was like definitely a sign that I should not DPP if it's out of the series, I'm in good shape. So I end up picking BW, which again was Voltix's weakness. I started out in BW, not necessarily my strength, but it's a tier I feel confident enough in myself in. And I bring this Scarf Drillbur, I believe this is Scarf Drillbur Apom team that I was liking a lot in open. I just decided to reuse it. Apom gets a ton of value. It fakes out Abra, so if you don't have Protect, you're done. It kills Ghastly in one hit with Shadow Claw. Mienfoo takes a lot of damage from Fury Swipes. Ferroseed almost dies to Fire Punch. And Vullaby with Fury Swipes and weak armor interactions, it just kills itself with the defense drops. So, Apom's pretty good here, especially because I doubt he has any Scarfers. Ghastly could be Scarf, but Chinchou Scarf is kind of a bad set, in my opinion. And Mienfoo could be Scarf, but Eevee Mienfoo is too good. It's just too good in blue. So I think this Apom can have a lot of effect. Other things, Drillbur looks kind of okay here, aside from the Vullaby. I get to click Earthquake a lot with Void Breaker because it ignores Ghastly's Levitate. So my idea is get rocks up, pressure with Drillbur, pressure with Apom, and Ferroseed also looks quite nice into basically every mon except for Mienfoo. So I can use Ferroseed to force in Mienfoo and then make some trades. Vullaby also looks quite nice, and Vullaby's good Abra answer. So Abra's not going to be that threatening unless it's HP Fire, given that I have Ferroseed and Vullaby. In this generation, Abra does not get Fairy moves because Fairy type doesn't exist. So it doesn't have a great way to hit Vullaby aside from Charge Beam, which doesn't do HKO if you don't get the special attack moves. It does like 35%. Alright, so given all that, I'm going to get into the game. And we start out with Ghastly against Mienfoo. I lead up with Ghastly because it's just a nice trader into everything. Vullaby doesn't have the buff knockoff in Gen 5, so I can also Wisp the Vullaby. I expect a Mienfoo lead, and I'm going to Wisp the Mienfoo. He switches out to Ferroseed as I miss Wisp, which is unfortunate because Wisp, I think, is 85% accuracy, right? And in Black and White, it does 12.5% damage because it's pre-SM. So the minimal chip I would need to make HP Fire effectual and a one-hit KO doesn't happen. Berry Juice also isn't available in Gen 5, so everything's going to be Eviolite or different item. So I'm going to hit Power Fire here, and I end up critting him. So I end up unlucky the first turn and then lucky the second turn. What I should mention is that I think if I Wisp and get a turn of Burn Chip, HP Fire doesn't kill, but I think it would kill with the second or third round of chip. So he would get a layer of hazards down, and this denies that. I obviously do have a Drillbur, even though it's Scarf, it can't spin. So I do have hazard removal, but this crit basically means that he cannot set up hazards for the rest of the game. Was that worth it at all, risking Ghastly get D-waved? If I'm being honest, I know I got lucky, but I would definitely make this play again. I don't think it is worth playing passive against a Gaspard lead. So here's another option I could have done. I could have gone Mienfoo. If I go Mienfoo, I think from his perspective, it makes a lot of sense to Thunder Wave, sure. But Stealth Rock or Spikes is a perfectly reasonable play, especially because my safe play is to go Ferroseed, which sits on his entire team. I could easily go Ferroseed here as he Thunder Waves, and then I'm playing sort of even, maybe a little bit behind because I have a 25% chance to do nothing. But if we trade hazards, I don't think he's necessarily thrilled about that. I think me getting Stealth Rock down with Ferroseed, or I think Scarf Drillbur has rocks here, I don't think that's something he's thrilled about. So my prediction here is either one, he's gonna hazards, which look very likely. I think he could be double hazard Pharaoh on this team. At the very least, he needs rocks up. If he thunder waves me and I go Drillbur, from his perspective, it could be an Aviolite Drillbur. As he stealth rocks, I get my stealth rock off immediately. So he is not exactly thrilled about not having hazards for the game, and that is something that is a fear for him. So in my opinion, I thought he would hazards here, especially because he can always go Vullaby or something and pivot, or he could go Chinchou. He can go Mienfoo or Vullaby and pivot into Gas. So that was my thought. Also, he might not know I have HP Fire. Well, so he can win against Drillbur with Giga Drain, but I'm talking if I HP Fire here as he Thunder Waves and I go Drillbur as he is going to click hazards, he's not going to Giga Drain on the switch. Ferseed's at like 30%, and then it's going to die to Earthquake, meaning that at that game state, I can always have hazards off, and it makes it a little bit harder for him to chip down my Vullaby. I also have an Apom, which is a fast guy, so he does want hazards up just to pressure my defensive mons. We both need to play extremely fast because of our fast guys being able to kill the entire team from the enemy. Given that, I thought he would prioritize rocks, even though Thunder Wave's a fine play. So anyway, I do end up critting here. So this simplifies my game plan a lot. Also, the reason I HP Fire Ghastly Pharaoh in big part is because Apom needs to be able to OHKO the Mon. And if Apom switches on Fury Swipes, I take a lot of recoil. So to have Pharaoh chip, even if Ghastly basically sacrifices itself with Thunder Wave, would be fine for me, in my opinion. I think it's alright. Ghastly isn't useful for Abra, it's not useful for opposing Ghastly. Against Mienfoo, a paralyzed Ghastly is honestly fine enough because you can at least Wisp it. So all those factors combined, and I think this is Eviolite Ghastly too, so it has enough bulk to like at least tank a hit and do something. I think for all those reasons, it was okay to stay in. So he sends out Abra on my Ghastly. Sorry, there's a lot of game chat that I forgot about. I go Vullaby. I don't have Sucker Punch on this, but even if I did, he probably has Sash, right? So I go Vullaby to live the Psychic, and he predicts me and goes Charge Beam, and he gets the boost. It's like a 95% chance or 90% chance to boost. No, wait, it's 95% accuracy and maybe a 50% chance to boost. So it's quite high odds to get the boost, but there are odds involved in getting the boost, just so that viewers are aware. I have U-turn on my Vullaby, so I don't see any reason to not click U-turn. I'm going to U-turn on his Chow, which does a lot of damage. The fact that he takes 33% damage is like kind of an alarm that this is an Eevio, and it might be Scarf Chow, which means that Apom comes in for free and fakes out. He goes Mienfoo. But I make a great read, so he thinks, oh, he's going to fake out. I'm going to go Mienfoo and then pivot on him with Mienfoo and Ghastly. But I just call the hard Fury Swipes on the switch. And the reason this is such a good play is that now, if he doesn't make a perfect prediction, he is just going to instantly lose Mon. You go Vullaby as a Fury Swipes, you die. You go Ghastly as a Shadow Claw, you die. And he doesn't even know what set I'm running, so he needs to kind of play some guessing game. I end up going Ferseed here on the fake out, which is just such a funny play because at this point, I think I'm just feeling myself. I don't think this play is necessary, but it is a nice secure because you could visualize a situation where the fake out does like 25% chip to Apom, he successfully switches into Vullaby on the Shadow Claw or Ghastly on the Fury Swipes, and that way he forces the Apom out. I have to play a little bit more of the game, and Abra will beat my team 1v1. Like, if it wins the tie against Apom, there's not much I can do. I do have enough resources for it, but I did feel like this Ferseed move to deal with the fake out was quite nice, especially because Ferseed Doesn't need much HP to deal with Chew. Um, and I mean, it's mostly just a hard read. Like, it's not like he's going to high jump kick here, right? So I make kind of a sick play and just kill his mon on the spot. Additionally, this covers U-turn. If I switch out A-bomb and he tries to U-turn, this still covers that play, and I live high jump kick. So it's not like I'm just feeding away my Pharisee if he decides to be like a god and then high jump kick. Ghastly is the obvious switcher for Mienfu, and U-turn would be the obvious play for that. So Pharisee, just a nice little mid ground to make sure this Fu dies. I don't want him regenning up all his health. He goes Abra, Hidden Power fires. I live at 1 HP. And I Thunder Wave. This is not a roll, guys. All the Hidden Power rolls are like almost all like you live them, like 99%. So this is the majority roll. And I Thunder Wave, which is 100% accuracy, black and white. So I make this Abra useless. I go Vullaby, especially because Charge Beam has an accuracy check, and now you can Roost, which makes you lose your flying type, meaning that you're not weak to Charge Beam anymore. So this is just a free way of just preserving all my mons and just playing very slow. He Charge Beams, and even if he got the boost, I'm just going to Roost on you, wait till he full para. I Roost as he Encores, which is so funny. I have to go back into Pharisee to sack it. Quite a cool set by him. Charge Beam, Hidden Power, Psychic Encore. I like it a lot. Importantly, he does reveal that he doesn't have Protect. So long term, he has shown me that he can't win this game. I go Vullaby and knock off. The reason I knock off, even though it does pitiful damage, is that if he goes Ghastly or Vullaby, that is an important training tool against it. I don't want to start Brave Burning the Vullaby and then lose my own HP. I don't want to Brave Burn on the Chinchou, lose free HP as he folds on me. And on the Ghastly, I just want to knock off its EV Knight. It's very safe, restrained gameplay because at this point, the game is completely won. It is also good for counter, but if you look at all his moves, he's not going to be Charge Beam, Hidden Power, counterless. That is a nice reason for it, but I think in black and white, if I remember correctly, Abra can't run counter because of Magic Guard. Like, if you run counter, you can't run Magic Guard. So it's pretty much like a dead ability, a dead move in Gen 5 and 6, if I remember correctly. There are legality issues. So I knock it off for Charge Beam. He raises a special attack, and I just U-turn. I've had enough of like the whole Roost Encore shenanigans. I go A-Bomb as he goes Ghastly. And I just ripped the Shadow Claw. I haven't seen anything from this Ghastly, but I'm like, okay, if you're Scarf, and you Sludge Bomb me, I can go my own Ghastly because you're locked into Sludge Bomb, and then I can get a free hit, right? So that way I feel kind of safe. And Vullaby or Drillbur win eventually. But I just kind of guessed from the way he's playing that he's not going to be Scarf Ghastly. He didn't bring it in my Ghastly to Revenge Kill. He didn't bring it in on my A-Bomb to Revenge Kill. He switched in the Mienfoo and not the Ghastly. So he wasn't even confident that the Ghastly would win the 1v1 against A-Bomb. Meaning that I'm faster and I kill. And now he goes Chinchou. I go Ghastly to sack it. As he goes Hydro. Maybe I should have gone Mienfoo and Fake Outed, but I think I have Taunt on this Mienfoo. And I was scared of the 2HQ. But he... So I take damage from Scarf Hydro. And I don't sack the Ghastly for some reason, because it's faster than Vullaby. So I decide to let go of my Vullaby instead. I mean, a kind of weird play. Vullaby isn't something you want against opposing Vullaby for endgames, because when you do your only method of doing damage, you give it a weak armor boost. Even at +1, it's faster than everything on my team. So I should have just switched to Vullaby here. So this is kind of a noob move, but at this point, I'm so far ahead that I didn't really need to think about my moves that heavily. Like, even imperfect play is going to get you the win. So I dodge the Hydro and Roost. I'm just sacking it so that I can go to my Mienfoo. But I end up keeping my Vullaby gets preserved through luck. I U-turn as he goes Vullaby. He's at +1, which is a little threatening, a little concerning. But I do have A-Bomb, which can fake it out. And I have a Scarf Drillbur in the back, importantly. And he doesn't have knock. Like, his method of doing damage, Brave Bird, does make him take serious recoil. So my idea is to Revenge Kill with the Vullaby. I go my own Wallaby as he roosts. This is an insane play. But if he Brave Birded there, I guess he would have to kill me and he would be basically dead. So it's a fair enough play. He Brave Birds and crits me, which is a little worrying. As I go Apom again, and I'm gonna fake out as he almost dies on Wallaby. And now I'm gonna stay in so that his Wallaby has to suicide against me. He has Last Mon Chow against a Drillbur. I am Scarf, he is Scarf, so I just want to win the die. He Hydro Pumps me. And I go Mienfu. I don't have Fake Out, but Hydro Pump does a pitiful amount of damage. I U-turn, and I end up critting, but it didn't matter because I'm going to Ghastly, sack it, and then U-turn again. And I end up winning Black and White. I think this early decision to HP Fire, even though I got lucky here, was kind of the key to breaking the game open by using Apom smartly. And then I follow up on my very lucky break with this move, where on the Scarf Chinchou, he OHKOs me, but I know he's going to switch. So I just break open the game by Fury Swipes the Mienfu, which just makes playing for him very hard. Is Fu Knock first plus Scarf Drill not safer? I don't think I have Knock on this Mienfu. I have Payback. Nasty Plot is a set in this gen, but Nasty Plot usually doesn't carry Roost. Actually, Nasty Plot, Roost, Vul did beat me in finals. So Black and White, like, while I played a good game here, I had a good team. Black and White was still one of my weaker gens because I did kind of get owned by Nasty Plot Wallaby. Like, I kind of bought it against Michael and through. So that is a good point. Nasty Plot Wallaby is scary here. So overall, after that, the game was pretty clear. Like, I didn't secure... I made some not perfect moves in securing, but it was a good enough secure overall. Like, I'm not upset about the way I secured that game. Maybe some of the Wallaby turns were a little indecisive, but I think I was still finding my form here. Good enough game. I win. And it's his pick. He ends up picking my main tier and leaving SM for game 5, which is kind of a baller move by Voltix. He is saying that I'm going to beat you in your main tier, and then in game 5, you're facing me in my main tier. So if I win this game, you are in, like, deep trouble. And he brings some sort of weird fish, Garvana, Abra, hyper offense with Mariani. I don't know who cooked this team up for him, but this is wild stuff. I just bring my LCPL finals team. This is what I brought against Michael in SS as well. I did mention that I was just alternating between two teams. So if he prepped for me, he knew about this team. Quick rundown is Special Diglett, Mono Fire Pony with Wisp and Recovery, Defensive U-Turn Grookey, Scarf Bonniard, 3 attack Sleep Talk Coughing, and Stealth Rock knockoff Ammonite, I think? No, Stealth Rock 3 attacks Ammonite with Earth Power, which importantly does hit the Mariani, so it was a very good call. I lead off Coughing because Coughing's quite good into everything. Mariani should counter Coughing with Regen, but Neutralizing Gas neutralizes that, so Coughing trades really well into everything, and you never want to lead Abra. Especially against a Diglett team, it just seems silly to lead Abra. And against Grookey, like, Grookey's a fine lead for me. Leading Abra is just always like a weird thing. And he ends up doing it. He completely reads the fact that I always usually lead Coughing because people won't lead Abra, and so he says, you know what, I'm going to lead Abra. And now he puts me in a hard spot because my Abra counter is a Scarf Bonniard. And I go to the Scarf Bonniard hoping that if he submissions me, maybe the Diglett can revenge kill. But I'm basically just hoping he doesn't. I'm really just praying he doesn't have a move that OHKOs me. He does go for the Fire Punch, which suggests that he is Eviolite, or at least not Life Orb, because it does 0 damage, and I'm Scarf too. Abra doesn't have the most attack, so it does no damage, but Life Orb Abra would still do more than this. He switches out to Timber because he does expect me to be Scarf, I believe, as I knock off the Eviolite from the Timber. I'm going to go Coughing. because now Coughing beats Timber very comfortably. Also, it neutralizes Timber's Iron Fist ability, so Ice Punch does a little bit less damage. He's going to knock off, which is a correct play. And now he goes back into Abra. Also, I want to mention, if he knocked off and I stayed in, and I just made some crazy play staying in, he would knock off my Scarf, meaning that Abra could now comfortably sweep my teeth, as long as it lives ahead from Diglet. He switches out into Abra. He hard Abras here because he lacks Coughing answers, and he doesn't want to trade the Timber for the Coughing because then Scarf Bonnier can get free knockoffs into his team. Honestly, maybe he could have Ice Punched there. I don't know. I don't use these kind of teams as much in SS, but I do feel like he could have Drain Punched or Ice Punched there. But I will defer to the commenters and the experts on that. But I do get a lot of free T-Bolt damage. I almost killed this Abra, so now Diglett and Grookey see very free real estate. I switch out into Poniard again, as this time he's Psychic, so I completely get the play right. I do think I lived Fire Punch all the time. I don't remember if this was a roll, but it is a bit of a risk to leave your Poniard at 1%, where now the Stealth Rock from Poniard can come in later in the game, and I have no removal. So that would basically mean that I am cooked, as Poniard is effectively dead. I go Brick Break, completely over predicting that he would switch to Poniard, as he stays in and Fire Punches, which is very funny. Very crazy play by Voltix, but maybe he was just sacking the Abra, to be fair. But I do see Ironhead being a quite good move in general. He could go Mariani, I guess. But Timber's not the best switch here. But I'm surprised he didn't go Poniard. I am very, very surprised. Maybe, honestly, maybe he expected a double to Diglett or something on the Poniard. And then I substitute as he keeps Sucker Punching. And then kill him. But if that's the case, maybe he should have Psychic. He Fire Punch, just expecting the Brick Break. So crazy move by him, honestly. He goes Vullaby as a Brick Break again. He's clearly Berry Juice because that Brick Break did a ton of damage. And I'm going to go Ammonite as he knocks off. So Ammonite is a good Vullaby counter because if you hit it twice, Ammonite becomes faster. And Ammonite sets up Stealth Rock, which limits Vullaby switch-ins. Vullaby U-turns and goes into Marini as I click Stealth Rock. Now, the problem for him is that if he kills me, Diglett comes in and Earth Power kills a Marini and traps it. So I do want to just knock off. I was wrong at preview. It wasn't Earth Power, it's knockoff because I have a Diglett. As he scalds, and now I'm going to trap with Diglett. It is special Diglett, so because of Grookey's grassy terrain has earthquake damage, so I went special Diglett. It's also really good against Ammonite, Onyx for whatever that's used in the tier, I guess. Mariani, and it does a lot of cool things. Special Diglett is real. And it can run Sludge Bomb as coverage, which can mess with opposing Grookey, which is really, really good. So I managed to trap the Mariani, and now Ponyta feels very, very free. Now I feel like I've basically won this game. And now even Grookey feels kind of free because this Vullaby is limited, so I'm feeling myself. Even though I don't have Drain Punch, I'm not 100% sure he knows that. He goes Vullaby as he Brave Birds here, which I believe is a critical error by him. There's no reason for him to be knocking Brave Birding here because everything has an item. So knockoff gets a ton of value. Poniard would die to knockoff, obviously. Coughing doesn't have an item, but knockoff into Brave Bird kills an EVLI plus Coughing. I don't need to count to know that. That is 100% true. So I don't know why he Brave Birded. I think knocking off was a better move here. And unfortunately, I don't Flame Body here. There is a chance I wasn't Flame Body on this Ponyta, and I completely sold, but I don't 100% remember. He switches out to Carvana as I Wisp, because I'm not confident in the fact that I'm going to burn. If I burned him, I would have Morning Sunned up. And Morning Sun's still a respectable play, but I'm scared that if I have Morning Sun, he'll knock me off. And then if he doesn't burn again, he can hard switch to Carvana on the Wisp. And now I don't even have an item. I'm fine being at 50% without an item, but I'm not fine without Navia Light, without making sure I have a burn on this Volunteer. So I checked out the Carvana. We go Grookey on the Carvana Protect. And I'm threatening Grassy Glide here. But he goes Poniard, knowing my set and knowing that I don't have Drain Punch. So I have to end up U-turning. I live any of the Carvana hits because I'm bulky. So even Ice Beam doesn't kill. I'll U-turn on the Carvana and gain momentum going on Ponyta. He goes Abra as I Flame Charge. Flame Charge is kind of free because if Poniard hits me, he doesn't kill. And I threaten to proc Flame Body on him. I can keep recovering with Grassy Terrain, extra recovery as well. And then if he keeps hitting me, he's going to get burned. Poniard's pretty hopeless against Ponyta. So he's going to have to switch out. And I get ahead of that by making sure I have the +1. So that I don't have to speed Diabra and I don't have to deal with Carvana speed boost shenanigans. So now that Ponyta has a +1, it's really tough for him. He goes Carvana. He is special Carve because he switched in on a Wisp. So I end up going Grookey. I predict that he will protect, but he ends up Ice Beaming. So he completely catches me off guard with an Ice Beam. And this Grassy Terrain is working a little against me because this Carvana should be at like 50%, but he's at 69% because he's getting a little bit of Grassy Terrain recovery each turn, which is unfortunate. He's going to go Vullaby as I double switch to Poniard, which is quite crazy. I think I have Scarf Sucker on the Poniard, but my main reason for resetting into Poniard like this is also I have 2 turns of terrain left. He Ice Beams, right? And now the Grookey is switched in. I have 1 turn of terrain left. If I Grassy Glide as he protects, I'm out of terrain. And then he can just kill me. That is very worrying. So I have to go to Poniard. Because I'm predicting Protect is the safe, regular, normal play for him. For some reason, he goes Vullaby. I'm not entirely sure why. As I go Poniard, so now I think, okay, Poniard's useless. I can at least use him to get damage off. And I hard switch to Ponyta as he knocks off. I'm not quite sure if this was correct. I do think Ironhead to limit Vullaby's Stealth Rock switch-ins have some merit to it, but if Vullaby's at +2 and kills my Poniard, there is a small chance that Ponyta would have died to... that it would have died to this range of... Also, if I kill the Vullaby with Ponyta, with Poniard, the Grookey Grassy Glide gets a lot more effectiveness. It kills this guy, it 2H kills this guy easily because no EV Light. Poniard has no recovery. And Ponyta counters it and Diglett traps it. So this was the only obstacle. So maybe Iron Heading again was just a move. I go Ponyta because I think I have Flame Body and I don't proc Flame Body here again, right? Yeah, I don't proc Flame Body at all. Morning Sun as he Brave Birds. And he needs to take the recoil to kill me, but he does end up taking it. I really do think I just didn't have recovery. And at this point, Diglett kind of sweeps, but Mach Punch literally might kill Diglett from full. I think I'm minus defense nature, which means that Mach Punch might kill Diglett from full, and this is an important interaction to think about, because you might be like, oh, Kingler, just go Diglett, Sludge Bomb the Vullaby. If Poniard comes in, you summon him a few times, and you're good enough to win those 50-50s. If Carvana comes in, summon the Protect. But Timber literally might kill me with Mach Punch, guys. So I have to be a little more considerate here. And now with the recoil, I go Poniard. He protects as I Ironhead. And then he goes Poniard to preserve his HP. Like preserve another sack in Vullaby. As I Ironhead, I go Grookey and sack it. As he Stealth Rocks. This is an insane play by me. So I was not sacking Grookey, guys. I'm kind of known for thinking that. I was even better in this game than I thought. I'm Iron Heading here, right? He can live enough 2 Iron Heads pretty easily. So what he's gonna do is he's wanting to Stealth Rock here to kill off my Grookey because it kills after Rock's Chip. Stealth Rock also chips down Coughing. With Iron Head plus like Mach Punch, imagine, right? It would kill that. It kills Grookey. Stealth Rock plus Iron Head plus like Mach Punch from Timber kills Coughing. So if he Stealth Rocks and I stay in, just trying to chip him for 15%, I lose the game. Because Grookey's dead, Coughing's gonna die, and Diglett's my only hope for saving myself. I have to sub for these guys, Bonnier and Carvana, and then he's gonna Mach Punch me into oblivion. So that's very not good for me. Instead, I come in with Grookey to heal myself up with Grassy Terrain on Stealth Rock. I go Diglett, predicting him to Sucker Punch me. Now, he can knock here pretty freely, but I think he's not 100% sure I have Drain Punch, and I make a call that he's not sure if I have Drain Punch, and he wants to just cover for Drain Punch, so he's gonna Sucker. And even if he Suckers and I Grassy Glide, right, I barely do any damage to him, and he's running out Grassy Terrain turn, so he's completely fine with that. So me hard Digletting here is me trying to find a win path. That was a very, very good play. Thank you very much, Spitfire. Thank you very much. I am known as an SS player for a reason. So this is me just trying to carve out a win path when it looks improbable. If he was like full Mazar bot, he knows all my sets for sure. He scouted me deeply. He'll probably know that I'm knockoff, do grass attacks U-turn. But he doesn't know that. So he ends up suffering here as a Diglett. And now the mind games begin. And I can't lose too many substitute HPs because then Mach Punch would kill me, and then this game is still not very clear. So he Suckers as I sub, so I get the first turn right. I get this little bit of recovery, which is just so nice. Grassy Terrain is just so sick, guys. Like, I love the fact that Grassy Seed is not a thing in LC, because the items are just so broken that Grassy Seed doesn't make Terrain super broken, so that you can do the cool, nice parts about Terrain. Because in the singles tiers, Terrain is just too broken. Like, I see people running Grassy Terrain, Grookey in RU and UU and PU, and it's like, come on, guys. It feels nice that this mechanic's so, like, it's balanced, it's interesting. It adds to the game rather than subtracting and creating, like, horrible cheese. So anyway, I cut off this Bonnier. He goes Timber, and I think it's a roll. Mach Punch is a roll, if I remember correctly. I did do a write-up on this game in the LC Classic thread. So if you guys want to go to the LC forum, LC Old Gens, I do have a post in there where I do detail some of the thoughts I have. So the role I'm seeing is this. So I'm at 14 HP. So I overestimate the damage it does, and it does 13 HP or less, like 15%, like 15 out of 16 of the times. And now, if you look at the board, without this Timber, Grassy Terrain expires next turn. Grookey comes in. He spams Grassy Glide. Against Vullaby, I spam Grassy Glide. Against Carvana, I spam Grassy Glides. The odds of getting multiple protects in a row has been nerfed since, I believe, SM. So 2 protects in a row is 33%, 1/3 chance, times a 1/9 chance to do it thrice in a row, times a 1/27 chance to do it 3 times in a row. So it is exceedingly rare to get 5 protects in a row to run out Grassy Terrain. What's perfect is that if I trade Diglett for Timber, I immediately win because Grookey has 5 whole turns of Grassy Terrain. So the way I played these Grassy Terrain turns was very nice. And so I'm just gonna Earth Power. Even if he Mach Punched, I lived most of the time, like 93.75% of the time. So I'm perfectly fine making this play. He has to overplay his hand and hope I switch and Drain Punch and do all that. But I simplify the game and I get rewarded for it. He goes Carvana here, but I just Earth Power as he doesn't protect. I hate flip coins, but he is an SM and DPP player, to be fair. And he did not, in fact, win the flip coins. He goes Vullaby as I kill him off. and I win the series. Voltix was very considerate with scheduling, a great player, and I was very pleased to win this series because honestly, I did consider myself a better all around player than Voltix, but he is a very high caliber player. And I was very worried that I would drop this series because I didn't feel like in my best form back then. And like this game was extremely sloppy. This game I just played horribly. This game I played like not perfect but okay. And this game I kind of turned it up and decided to seal out the game. Um, Especially when it looked rough, I managed to make the plays that got me to win the game. So that was my tiebreak game into getting into LC Classic playoffs. I still have to do a couple more of the series, which I will try to get around to. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you later.